Bushnell Launch Pro and the SkyTrak Plus. If you're looking for a launch monitor golf simulator under $5,000, you're probably considering one of these two devices. And if I'm being honest, they're both great devices, but there are some few differences that I think is going to help you make that decision, so let's get into it. Starting off with accuracy, because that's probably one of the biggest things you're concerned about with the SkyTrak Plus and the Bushnell Launch Pro. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you, there are some people that are just so dyed in the wool with their launch monitor that they're going to be like, oh, the SkyTrak Plus is so much worse than the Bushnell Launch Pro, and I don't know, people get all defensive about which launch monitor they buy. But after testing both, honestly, they're extremely close. So let me start by saying this. The Bushnell Launch Pro is incredibly accurate. I think in terms of a launch monitor, it's essentially the most accurate you can get unless you want to upgrade to a GC Quad or a TrackMan, which is $20,000. Now, that being said, the SkyTrak Plus is extremely close to the Bushnell Launch Pro. In my opinion, after testing both, I think over an 18-hole span, you're probably going to have maybe 1 or 2 carry yardages over 18 holes that seem a little off compared to what you would expect. And at the end of the day, that's the difference. So when people go around saying this one's so much better, that's really all it is. I would say 1 or 2 shots over 18 holes. The SkyTrak Plus, I was extremely impressed in its accuracy. Both of these devices do carry yardages very well. They both do the offline and gear effect very well. And I really think at the end of the day, the Bushnell Launch Pro is a little more expensive than the SkyTrak Plus, but rightfully so because it's a little bit more accurate as well. So like I said, let's get into price, because when you combine the accuracy and price, this really helps paint a better picture. So the SkyTrak Plus comes in at around $2,700 to $300. And what you're gonna have if you wanna play courses, you're gonna have around $250 a year in subscription fees. Now, good news for that, you're gonna get 15 E6 courses pre-packaged, and that can work for mobile or desktop. Now, the Bushnell Launch Pro has 2 options. You have the base unit, and then you have the club data add-on. So the base unit is around $2,000, but it doesn't come with all the club data that the SkyTrak Plus does. Then, if you want to get essentially the same data points that are offered with the SkyTrak Plus, club data, club path, etc., then you get the club data add-on, and that's going to take the Bushnell Launch Pro to $3,500. But wait, we're not done. There's subscription fees, and there's a lot of them. So with the Bushnell Launch Pro, it's $500 a year minimum in subscription fees. If you wanted to add on GS Pro, that's another $250. Good news, I don't think you have to add it on. I think the Foresight software is really good. For the kind of same bones of the device, you're looking at $3,500 for the Bushnell Launch Pro, $27,000 to $3,000 for the SkyTrak Plus, and then $250 a year SkyTrak Plus, $500 a year for the Bushnell Launch Pro. Now, you don't have to get the club data add-on. It is a little bit of a bummer to not have club speed and club path and some of those club metrics, but honestly, if you're having people over a lot, you're not gonna put club stickers on all their clubs. So for me, I really only use the club data for myself. None of my friends get that club data. At least with the SkyTrak Plus, you don't have to have club stickers to get the club data. Club stickers, I found, do help a little bit though. All right, let's talk about setup of each device. Honestly, they're both extremely quick. They probably take a minute. I power them on, connect to Wi-Fi, boom, you're running your programs. Next, let's talk about simulator programs. So there's some pros and cons to each device. With the Bushnell Launch Pro, you have official integration with GS Pro. So if you want to add on GS Pro, again, that's an extra $250 a year. You have that option. Like I said, I don't think you need it. I think their Foresight software is great if you just want to do the $500 a year. With the SkyTrak Plus, one of the benefits of their simulator software is you get 15 E6 courses with their subscription package, and that's great because that works for mobile and desktop. So when I first started, I used an iPhone or iPad to connect my courses to a projector, or I would just play straight on the iPad, and that worked great with the SkyTrak Plus. All right, battery life. How long does the battery life last? I think the SkyTrak Plus is around 5 to 6 hours. It's enough where once it's fully charged, you can play full rounds, not have to worry about it, but you definitely have to plug it in. The Bushnell Launch Pro battery is incredible. It's like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I never have to charge a thing. It's like gotta be 10 to 13 hours. It's insane. Next, let's talk about taking it to the range. If you want to take your launch monitor back and forth to the range, the Bushnell Launch Pro is going to be the clear choice. It's just so simple and easy to use at the range. SkyTrak Plus works at the range, but you have to use it on a mat. So if your driving range doesn't have hitting mats, not gonna work. Real grass ain't gonna work with the SkyTrak Plus, is gonna work with the Bushnell Launch Pro. Next, let's move on to responsiveness of the device from when you hit the ball to when it appears on the screen. Which device is better? The Bushnell Launch Pro is definitely faster, but honestly, either device, the delay is not bad. I wouldn't let the responsiveness dictate what device I get. SkyTrak Plus, like I said, a little slower, but you get used to it and it's really not a big deal. All right, let's talk about putting. Get closer. Never putt on a simulator, all right? That is I will die on this hill, okay? It takes so much longer to putt on a simulator. Putting on a simulator, no matter how good it reads it, it's never gonna be super realistic. You're never gonna get better at putting in real life on a simulator. So play more holes, faster, use the auto putt features, don't putt on a simulator. That's just my 2 cents. And if you wanna watch a video on which one reads putting better, they're probably both pretty close, but I don't test the putting because that is kind of my opinion on putting on simulators. All right, lefties and righties, this is gonna be important. Now, like I said, the easiest way to do lefties and righties is the Mevo Plus. We'll have code and links below for that as well. But lefties and righties actually works very well for the Bushnell Launch Pro with GS Pro. So the reason I say GS Pro, they have a feature called play out hole, and what that allows you to do is you play the entire hole, then switch to the next person. So for me and my buddies, if I want to use the Bushnell Launch Pro because I'm a lefty, I'll play the first hole, then they all play the first hole, then they all play the second hole, and then I'll switch the device back over to me to be last on hole 2. So really you don't move it that much at all with the play out hole option. So if you wanted to do lefties and righties, again, Mevo Plus is what I'd recommend. But if you really are sold on the Bushnell Launch Pro, you can make it work very well. Lefties and righties, I don't know if I would do it on the SkyTrak Plus because it doesn't have official integration with GS Pro. I don't recommend using the SkyTrak Plus with GS Pro, and you'd have to switch it every single shot with lefties and righties, which is a huge pain in the butt. All right, let's talk about quirks of the device. Since they're both camera-based launch monitors that sit beside you, they both have similar quirks, I would say. One of the first quirks is Righties. Because they're infrared cameras, you don't want to use light color Righties, which is what we use to tee up our balls, and I'll link that below as well. You want to use black, blue, or green. Again, that ain't a big deal, just make sure to buy the right one. Club stickers is another quirk. Like I've talked about, coming from the Mevo Plus, you don't need any club stickers for people coming over to get that club data. Bushnell Launch Pro, you do. So that's a little bit of a pain in the butt because I'm not going to put club stickers on all my friends' clubs, so they just don't get club data, which is kind of annoying because no club speed, no club path. You want to have that for people coming over. Now, SkyTrak Plus will read it without club stickers, but I haven't found the club data to be perfect without them. I find that it's more accurate with club stickers on, but at least with the SkyTrak Plus, friends who come over can get club data without club stickers. Then finally, the only other quirk that is unique to the SkyTrak Plus, it has a red dot which shows you where you can hit. And so the only downside about that is you kind of wear down your mat a little faster in that spot. The Bushnell Launch Pro's hitting area is a lot bigger, which allows you to make your mat last a little bit longer. All right. Club data. We talked about accuracy of the ball flights. How accurate is the club data? Bushnell Launch Pro, incredibly accurate. SkyTrak Plus, I would say club path and face angle when I put club stickers on my clubs was really, really good. Club speed, I am not sold on the SkyTrak Plus. I found I get really big ranges. The average is probably pretty close, but I would get like 120 club speeds and then 101 club speeds. And if you've played on simulators enough, you know your swing speed doesn't vary that much. Mine is pretty much always between 108 to 111. So to see that big in a jump, I knew that something was off on the club speed, and I've seen a lot of kind of polls from people thinking the club speed is off, but club path, face angle, good. And then finally, the only other downside with the Bushnell Launch Pro with club data is the fact that it doesn't give face angle. Bushnell, Foresight, please add face angle just to the Bushnell Launch Pro. That is a feature that would make it essentially a perfect device for me. Now, which one would I buy? Being honest, I think it comes down to price. If you feel like you can afford the Bushnell Launch Pro, I would go for the Bushnell Launch Pro. If you're a little budget conscious, I'm definitely going with the SkyTrak Plus because really, kind of like what I said accuracy-wise, I feel like it's like 1 to 2 shots every 18 holes that will be worse on the SkyTrak Plus. Other than that, I think they're pretty much the exact same. Now, if you're gonna buy a launch monitor, use our links and codes below, really helps us out. And if you have any questions on how to build the golf simulator or which launch monitor to get, you can take our quiz below, or you can just email me, which our email is golfbustersofficial@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to respond and help you out. We'll see you in the next one.